So, hello. Back with my creaky chair, and I'm going to be watching episode 113, Breathing Room. Yeah. I have like a event to go to that's gonna end in like a bit, so I have like an hour 30 to do this, so that's more time than last time. But I haven't changed the title yet though. But yeah, it's hot as hell, so I have my hair in a ponytail because all the windows open. But yeah, I'm here. But yeah, shit. I need to change the title, but okay. But I'll change it right now, and then I need to look up Adelard Dekker because I said last time that I would deal with that at the beginning because I forgot exactly where he's been mentioned. Breathing room. Okay. The title is different now, but I need to look up Dekker because I thought he was the guy, like a crime-ish guy, but I forgot exactly. I'll go to my favorite list, the episode characters list. Magnus episode character. Yeah, characters episode list. Where is he? It shows when they were first appear, and I'm like, thank the Lord. Okay, Dekker. Oop, I accidentally clicked out of my search. Okay, Dekker. Okay, episode 77. Exorcist. Okay. Oh wait, was he the guy who... No, he wasn't that guy. That was someone else. That's Salesa. That's Salesa. I'm an idiot. Dekker is the guy who dealt with the table that one time, right? Before the two, the Breakin and Hope picked up the table again. He's the one who sealed it. He sealed the not them into the table. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait. He shows up in 77 and 78? Okay, let me look at episode 77. Okay. I got some Hokkaido pearl milk tea. Oh no, you have to hear me chew. Boba. I'm not really a milk tea person. I usually try to stick with like special kinds, like I don't know, tiramisu milk tea or something, some like weird specialty stuff. And I had Hokkaido coffee, and I thought that I hated it a little bit. Maybe it was just the place I got it from. But the Hokkaido pearl milk tea is better. But it's all, oh my god. Mag 77. The Kind Mother. I watched this on stream. This is one of my first. It was the season 1 finale. That was my first stream. Based on I suspect this to be the creature that Adelard. Oh, Gertrude mentions the next statement that's read in this statement. Okay, so that's why Adelard Dekker is mentioned. Okay, and then distant cousin is when he traps it, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, there's a knock. Mouthing in front of a table. Webs trapping it, which is crazy. Whoa. Web connection. Web web stranger enemies. Okay. So he was that guy. I'm an idiot, so it's fine. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't know what I was saying. That was Salesa. I don't know if we'll probably see Salesa again since he's been mentioned like twice. So like every character comes back, especially when they're mentioned multiple times. But yeah, I was thinking of Salesa, but this is Dekker, and he's the guy who trapped and knocked them in the table. Okay, let me listen to the statement now. I mean, the episode, not just the statement. There's also going to be some stuff besides the statement in the episode. But yeah, okay.
/Rusty Quill and take a look at our rewards.
I hope the audio's okay. I tried to lower myself a little bit, but also lower the audio a little bit because I peak so much. Because I'm like extremely loud.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives.
I don't really have anything to do right now. Well, I have stuff to do, but I can't do it like while I watch the episode. It's too, you know.
Episode 113. Breathing Room.
Okay, I just got a grade for one of my... Okay, I know stuff is happening, but I went... because I just got a grade, but like, that's what I meant. You know that's what I got 2 points off because it's like slightly incorrect reasoning. It's like, you said you wouldn't be able to find stuff past this, but it's actually you wouldn't be able to find stuff past this that was also initially from this value. And I'm like, that's literally what I meant. You know that's what I meant. You know that. I just didn't write it because it said short sentences. You know that. Okay, whatever. Magnus Archives. Screw you. That's my first non-100%. And one of these. Huh?
You know, Gertrude, something's worth doing.
I'm gonna higher my volume. What in the muffled dialogue is this?
What? I thought it would be less crowded. Oh, you know, Gertrude, if something's worth doing, it's worth looking through 24 unmarked cardboard boxes for.
So yeah, it seems John and Martin are at the vault and roasting Gertrude's organization, just like in season 1.
So what are we looking for?
I'm not exactly sure. It might be an old taxidermied gorilla skin, or not. Apparently it should be obvious.
Right. Then let's get on with it.
Whose pocket is this tape recorder in?
Vampire Trevor? Not. Apparently it should be obvious.
Right. Then let's get on with it.
So, you actually met Vampire Trevor then? I mean, I met quite a few people from the States.
Hey!
Do you remember
they were all
Dr.
cool.
Elliot, the anatomy students trying to pose as people who definitely weren't people?
And that was the policeman.
Well, turns out one of them
Masterman.
became a police officer. Or pretended to.
Because it's one of those generic names.
And he killed it? It's not a simple,
What did they do to it?
a bunch of eyeless paintings?
Snap! Eyeless dolls. Oh, and this lot of shredded newspapers.
Same.
Was it Gertrude's apartment that had a bunch of like everything, like magazines, everything with crossed out, like cut out eyes. Was that Gertrude's apartment? Or am I again confusing her with that other person who went crazy because they were being watched because of a mirror? I don't it might have been Gertrude though. I feel like that was one of the first signs. It was like, oh, that's weird. It's like, oh, the eye versus the eye. The eye is watching. But yeah, it makes sense because we're learning right now that Gertrude has a bunch of cut out eye stuff. Oh my god.
Touch it. Oh! Right. Let's not paintings.
Snap! Eyeless dolls. And this lot of shredded newspapers.
Same. Oh, there's a book in this one. Don't touch it.
Not books.
Oh! Right.
It's like, oh.
Let's not touch any books we don't know. Right. Back.
No likeness, please.
It's just a notebook, I think.
What's in it?
I'm not sure. Names, locations, dates. I'll check properly later. It doesn't look like it's to do with the unknowing, I don't think. Right.
So, how was it? America and China. I've never really actually done any, travelling.
It's not all that. Sometimes you get shot by a ghost.
Refuse to give
I remember that.
Yep.
Still, people. I saw people on the. I have like. It's a thing that happened, but like people on the Reddit seem, at least one person seemed to be very, very like desperately curious for what happened to Melanie, but to have her get shot by a ghost, and they're like, please, we haven't learned why she got shot by a ghost yet, and then and it's like, literally like purposefully in this episode, she's like, not gonna talk about it. That poor guy on Reddit. Nice small talk we're making here. Searching a vault to stop the apocalypse.
Nice. Well, it was weird. Paranoia is an odd combination with culture shock. Really rather disorientating.
I mean, it wasn't actually paranoia though, was it? Because
They were doing it. Paranoia and culture shock. Is this policeman following me, or do policemen just follow you in America? Who knows?
were out to get you.
I suppose that they were.
Wasn't a great time back here either.
Oh, God, Melanie, of course, I'm sorry. If I'd known that Ivy Meadows was...
What? You'd have told me. Let me learn from one of your statements instead of from Elias. I don't see that changing anything.
Even so, I'm sorry.
I don't need your apology.
There's no way to know.
Of course. Martin's plan is solid, I think.
I mean, they might just kill him.
Good.
I mean, maybe, but I think they're still our best chance,
What did they say?
of course. Martin's plan is solid, I think.
Martin's plan is
They might just kill him.
Good.
I mean, maybe, but I think they're still our best chance. Even if we did manage to blindside him, I don't know how long we could hold him.
And in fairness, he's happy enough to use the police against us.
Quite. And I'd rather not be staring down a kidnapping charge on top of everything.
John?
Yes?
I think I found that gorilla
Elias'
skin you were
plan.
talking about.
Perfect.
Gorilla skins right here?
Now if we
Or,
could just...
I'm afraid, what's left of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she did destroy it.
Oh yeah, I was like, didn't you destroy it?
Right. So if that's not what we're looking
John,
for...
John, John.
What?
I think I found it.
What is it? What?
I think you're going to want to see this.
Good Lord, is that...
Looks like it.
Where the hell did she get this? Martin, don't touch it. Sorry? Is it stable?
How should I know? I don't even know what kind it is.
I mean, it looks like C4.
Are you just saying that because it's the only
C4?
you've ever heard?
You're gonna wanna look at this! I was like, what could it be? put Mud to react like this. Put all of them to react like this, and it's like fucking explosives. Holy shit. Okay. Like, actually just... You want to know how to stop the unknowing? They did say it's tied to the location once it starts. You want to know how to stop the unknowing? Blow it up. Blow up the building. Yeah, is that really it? Is it... Gertrude... Wait. Jerry, he said, like, Gertrude told him, like, she had a way to stop the unknowing. But you said it, like, in a way that was kind of amused. Like maybe she was telling a joke, but Jerry was like, well, she didn't really tell jokes. No, she definitely didn't tell jokes. So, but he was like, I don't know why she said it like it was sort of humorous. Like, I discovered, like, is this how? She was like, oh, I found a way to stop the unknowing. It's fucking funny though. I just have to blow the place up. Like, god dang, this is how I stopped the apocalypse, I guess. Like, no wonder she seemed slightly amused when she said, I guess I found a way. It's like, I can't believe this is the way. Yeah. No, I was just confused because I looked in friend activity and I'm like, who's Taylor? And then I forgot that I followed some people. I thought I only followed YouTubers on Spotify. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll continue. But that's funny. She's like, I have a way to stop the unknowing. And it's like, okay. It is very grounded and ironic if this is the way how to stop the unknowing. The fact that it's so grounded is the reason why it's so, like, laughable in a way. Oh my, is this really it?
Oh, I mean, that is to say... So many other... Martin, stop trying to touch the plastic explosives.
Sorry. Guys.
Just put your hands in your pockets or something.
I said I'm sorry. Guys.
What?
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
It's like...
Oh, god damn it.
Hey?
Okay.
Is that... What were you thinking bringing that along?
I forgot.
You forgot?
Turn it off! I am. Just give me a second.
Good delivery! Can I hear that again? One more time. Once more for the people in the back.
Is that... What were you thinking bringing that along?
I forgot.
You forgot?
Turn it off! I am. Just give me a second.
Turn it off!
Oh, it was so bad.
Statement
'Cause, like,
of
maybe-
Adelard Dekker.
Like, Elias could hear it or something, since it was being given to the eye and stuff.
Regarding the near-death and subsequent activities of Justin Goff. Statement undated, likely circa 2012. Audio recording by Jonathan Sims, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, London. Statement begins.
Oh, what the hell?
Gertrude.
No, I just looked 2 statements down and I accidentally read Mikhail Salesa. And literally, that's the guy that I was just talking about that I confused with Dekker. Oh my god, crazy.
It should all be here, though God knows I was tempted to take a block for myself just in case. I won't even press you for where you got it, though if some of these leads pan out, I might need to ask you to track down some more.
I feel like I missed
assume
something.
whatever...
Let me go back.
Gertrude. It should all be here, though God
Gertrude.
knows I was tempted to take a block for myself just in case. I won't even press you for where you got it, though if some of these leads pan out, I might need to ask you to track down some more. I
C4?
assume whatever surveillance meant you needed me to move it is only keeping track of you, but let me know if there's anything I need to be on the lookout for. Anyway, you owe me a favor. And maybe another one once you read this. It might come to nothing, but it's something you should probably be aware of. I'll even make it a statement. Give your patron something to keep it satisfied. It's not like I sleep enough to worry about dreams.
Dreams.
I was Pursuing my researches into the new emergence I mentioned earlier, I know you are
New
dismissive of the
emergence.
possibility, but if I'm right, the sudden urgency of these immediate dangers you are so focused on could very well be a direct result. But that's for another day, as this particular instance turned out to be unconnected. The point is, I was alerted to a series of deaths by a coroner friend of mine. Although all signs pointed to carbon monoxide poisoning, the bodies showed signs of acute distress, the sort you don't normally get when you die in your sleep. There was blood pooled in the back of the throat, and the vocal cords were shredded, although no neighbours reported hearing a sound. And most importantly, at all three scenes, there was evidence of a second person who had apparently left without suffering any ill effects. The deaths were about a fortnight apart, and when the third came in with the same symptoms, Bianca, the coroner, called me in. For the last few years we've had an arrangement. I slip her a bit of cash to feed a nasty habit she has, and if she's called to any inquest which looks strange, I'm the first to know. Despite her weakness, Bianca is still a damn good coroner, and filled me in on the details quickly. The deaths had been carbon monoxide, she said, and by way of example showed me a plastic cup full of blood. It was bright red. Cherry red, Bianca told me, a good sign of CO poisoning. But apparently they hadn't found any
Did not
trace
know
of the
that.
gas in the homes of the deceased. Current theory was that someone was deliberately gassing people while they slept.
Like
But
I'm
Bianca was
spraying
adamant
carbon
that as far
monoxide
as
in
she
your
could
face.
tell, it seemed to have bypassed the lungs completely, appearing right into their blood as carbohemoglobin or whatever.
I'm going to
From the
inject
looks
you
on
with
their
carbon
faces, I could tell
monoxide.
two things. It had hurt, and they had never woken up. You see why I thought this might be related. Well,
To whatever's
hoped
currently
more than
going
thought,
on for
maybe.
Gertrude.
The man-made nature of it seemed like a potential link, but it had few of the other hallmarks. Still, I thought it was worth following up on. Finding who was killing these people in their sleep. It's odd, isn't it? Sleep. You can never remember or fully pin down the exact moment you lose consciousness. Just lying there, waiting to find yourself in a dream without the first clue or interest in how and when you got there. Or to find your eyes closed and force them open to sunlight and morning, only realizing that sleep has happened in retrospect.
A little
I wonder if
terrifying.
Death is the same way. No clear
Oh.
dividing line, just gone. Only to realize after it's happened, except for the fact that there isn't an after. Is that a comforting thought or a terrifying one? It depends on who you
Terrifying?
are, I suppose.
Oh, okay, sure, I guess. It's
Bothered me
subjective
when
like
I was
that.
young. If I thought too hard about the concept of sleep, of exactly what it was, I would worry myself and end up having to turn the light on and read for an hour or two. Everyone always talks about
Same.
how they want to die in their sleep, but honestly, I think that's the death that scares me the most.
It's kind of the same.
But
It's
that's a
scary.
meditation for another day.
Because you,
As far as these deaths
like,
were
I don't know,
concerned,
not
I
knowing that
was
you're gonna die is, like,
confident
I
there
don't
was
know.
something turning up in these people's houses and doing this to them.
I know people are, like, scared of, like they'd rather die, like, peacefully not knowing that they died rather than, like, having to experience, like, the feeling of, like, oh, I'm dying, and then I die. Like, but, like, I don't know, the idea of, like, not knowing, it's, like, it just happening suddenly, and you're not even there to, like, experience it, is, like, that's fucked up. Like, why would I want that? Like, that's, like, I don't know, in life, even, like, death is, like, the one experience that, like, you can only experience once, usually, and it's, like, this isn't, like, the reason for me. The reason for me is, like, the same reason as this guy. Like, like, the idea of, like, just, like, dying and, like, not being there for it. It's like you're sleeping forever, basically. Oh, shit, that's awful. But like, there's also the idea that like death is like the like most important thing that can happen to you, and you not being there to experience it is like also sounds like a shit deal. It's like, you know, I don't know. I know people like feel differently. They're like, I don't want to know about it. I just want it to happen while I'm not looking. And so I'd never have to think about it ever. But it's like, you know, it's like, what the, like, it's also the idea of not being able to make plans, it being sudden. But yeah, I get this guy.
My first thought was a direct manifestation, but the more I looked into it, the more I suspected maybe it was some poor soul who got in too deep. I don't know if my little theoretical is strong enough yet to start taking avatars, but this one, as you've no doubt guessed, turned out to be Terminus. Justin Goff, his name was. He was admitted to accident and emergency at Whipps Cross Hospital about 2 months ago, suffering from, I'm sure it will come as no surprise, acute carbon monoxide poisoning. He had been camping and taken a small barbecue into his tent to keep warm, and it warmed his lungs all the way to the hospital. He was terrified and unintelligible, and then
He said like a new emergence, and then the first thing that came to mind was like a new entity, and then I was like, but then I was like, I waved it off, kind of. I was like, let me listen instead of being an idiot and not speak. But then he said, not enough to be taking on avatars. And I'm like, is he talking about like this a new entity that's emerging, like related to sleep? Well, I thought this was more related to like death. But maybe, or like, I don't know, like like the lack of consciousness. That's, fuck, I hate that. Like, I hate like the whole idea of like lack of consciousness. I hate drugs. I hate drugs. like the drugs that make you go under, like anesthesia or whatever. It's like, I fucking hate it. Like the kind where you don't remember what happened to you is like, fuck you. I hate that. I keep swearing too much. But it's like, I'm so terrified of drugs. I hate drugs so much. And the idea of like being there but not being able to remember your own memories, or like not being conscious, it's like, I hate it. So, but like, so he said something about not being enough to like, but not enough to be taking on avatars yet. So I'm like, are you actually talking about like a new like thingy? I don't know.
he died for 52 seconds.
Oh.
According to the duty nurse, that is how
That's
long
why I
Justin
said
Goff was
almost
clinically
once.
dead.
So
before they
like
managed to-
sometimes some people can experience dying like 2 times or like 3 times or like as many times as you accidentally almost die. Unfortunate. Okay. 18 out of 20. Screw you. I'm still looking at my grade. Okay.
Start his heart and get him on a breather machine. It's hard to scream with a breathing tube in you, but apparently he gave it a noble attempt when he woke up. The nurse I talked to hadn't been there, but he had apparently had some sort of near-death experience and was describing awful visions to those attending him, muttering obliquely about terrible things he'd had to do to return,
Huh?
and prices that would need to be paid.
Um.
None of the staff who were present would willingly
Okay.
say much more about it, but it had clearly
First thing that
shaken
came to
them.
mind is like the
Justin
game
was
that
discharged
guy
shortly afterwards
played
and in rapid
to
succession.
beat death and like and replace one of those deaths. I don't know.
Quit his job, disappeared from social media, and cut off effectively all human contact. He became, to all intents and purposes, a recluse who hasn't left the house since. Or so the neighbours would say. I had a suspicion that he was leaving, but by night and for a single, very specific purpose. To pay a debt. While many fall to the powers through love or terror, sometimes it can be as simple as what you owe. After all, most debts are paid out of fear. The hospital refused to give me his address, but I managed to acquire it anyway. His building was a squalid little apartment block. In such a state, I found it hard to believe that he'd had to go camping in order to get poisoned. The windows were well barred against intruders, and I didn't think this was a situation where I could simply knock on the door. So I waited. For 2 days I sat there, watching the damp eat away at the bricks of that half-rotten building. I was all but ready to write it off and look for another option, when at last the front door opened, and out stepped Justin Goff. Now, I didn't have a picture of the man, and had been intending to go on the description given by the hospital workers, but in the end I recognized him simply by the thin trickle of cherry-red blood that rolled slowly down his chin, and the fact that, as I watched him descend the steps of his building and walk out onto the pavement, I am quite sure that I did not see him breathe. He was not a tall man, but his frame was rail-thin, and what face I was able to make out was gaunt and hollow. We've both seen our share of bodies, Gertrude, so you will understand what I mean when I tell you he had the eyes of the dead. They moved and they focused, but that subtle glimmer that shows life was wholly absent. All that was left was a skittish sort of terror, as he glanced over his shoulder, desperate to see if he was being followed. And of course, overlooking me completely.
Okay.
This worried me. As you know, I'm not by any means a hunter, and if Justin Goff was as far gone as he appeared, it was likely he was no longer human enough for me to remove him without the aid of one. And while I do know one or two I believe are touched by the scent of blood, they are
It's cool. It's a cool
unpredictable.
phrase.
And I was
Interesting.
reluctant to call on them in any but the most.
So he's saying that he's so far gone that he can't take him out on his own. He needs someone who's serving the hunt. Interesting. I've never thought about like a special sort of monster killy like power specific to the hunt people. Is there an added sense of power there? Because what we've seen of the people like who are like feeding the hunt are like people who have a great like drive and like bloodlust for it. But I never thought that like in terms of like people who are hunters like Julia and Trevor, I didn't think they had like a special sort of like ability to kill very powerful beings because of their connection to the hunt. I thought the power there was like their like bloodlust. But I guess it depends on how far gone they are, because there's that like one like what was it, like werewolf man from the woods that was like a hunt person, but he like it was like an animal basically. He was like a you know, a creature. So I guess it depends. And he's saying unpredictable, so maybe. Okay, let's just keep going.
Dire circumstances, which I did not believe this to be. So I simply followed him, hoping to get slightly more of an idea of exactly what he was doing. His walk had a certainty to it. I never once saw him consult a map or pause to consider his destination. He knew exactly where he was going, and his steps were slow and implacable. There was an inevitability to his movements, and I think that is when I realized he was simply serving the end.
Okay.
Which I won't pretend wasn't a disappointment.
This guy really
But
was
still,
looking.
I thought
There was, because from the beginning, like, was sort of like dying in your sleep, like how sleep is like death, like sleep and death talk. That was like the end. I like pegged that as the end. But then he was going on about like maybe something new is emerging, and then he found out it was just the end, and then it was like, oh, disappointed. Okay, that's interesting. Like people tracking, seeming to be like, is there something else going on here? Is something else emerging because of like in the new time? I'm like, Joanne. These aren't boba, there's like pearls, and I think I don't know the difference. Well, it doesn't taste like boba, I don't think. Boba tastes like sweeter or something. It tastes more like... more like some Filipino pastry that I've had. Like more... maybe like taro-y. Or those like balls or something. I don't know. I keep switching
Deal
gears.
with him and save a few lives? I might as well. He walked for some hours until finally coming upon a small house down a cul-de-sac near Hackney Wick. It seemed unremarkable and had nothing to distinguish it from those that surrounded it. He walked up to the door and pushed it gently. It opened silently and he walked inside. So I waited a minute or two, watching for any movement within, listening for any sound that might break the still, humid air. But there was nothing, and I followed him inside. Justin Goff was sat in the main bedroom, his back pressed against the wall opposite a bed, where a middle-aged man lay sleeping. The room was quiet, and at first I thought there was no movement at all, but as I watched, I saw the face of the man in the bed contort and spasm, as though racked with awful nightmares, his chest heaving and convulsing as he struggled to breathe. I looked to the man I assumed to be his assailant, but to all appearances, it seemed like Justin Goff was also asleep, sat in the corner of that nondescript suburban bedroom.
This guy's just...
But then I saw his eyelids flicker, and I realized what was going on.
What was going on?
What is the line between a near-death experience and a dream? Perhaps you do leave yourself, brush against the afterlife and return, but I don't believe it. I believe they are both simply the firings of a brain we no longer have control over. And perhaps, if you make contact with something terrible in one, it continues to live with you in the other. And perhaps it demands you infect others with your fate. I was not quick enough to save the man who lived in that house. Truth be told, I didn't especially try. I didn't think I would be able to move quick enough to do so, and was more concerned with being quiet and thorough. The cutlery drawer was largely empty, but after a minute's searching, I did find what I was after. A long metal skewer. Did you know there are certain forms of brain injury that cut you off from your ability to dream? Ironically enough, it's sometimes caused by carbon monoxide poisoning. But there is still no definitive answer about which part of the brain needs to be injured for it to happen. So I made the decision it was better to be on the safe side as I pushed the point up past his eye, sliding it into that little gap between eyeball and tear duct, and up into his brain.
Did you lobotomize this guy?
I knew it wouldn't kill him. He's too far from human for me to do so. But I thought that scrambling his brain a bit was probably my best bet.
This is part of my fear.
As far as it goes.
I don't like people messing with people's heads, and I hate lobotomies.
When the police picked him up after an anonymous tip about a break-in, he was barely able to speak.
I hate like medical horrors.
I very much hope I managed to sever his
drugs
dreams.
And lobotomies.
I have no interest in pursuing this further.
Stop fucking with people's
given the mind's
brains.
remarkable aptitude for healing, not to mention the resilience of creatures like him, I cannot make any guarantees Justin Goff will remain in the state I left him. And it seems that, as he deals in dreams, it may be worth your while to keep an eye on the statements you take, in case he finds his way here. I'm sure you can take care of yourself, of course, but I thought it would be worth letting you know. Good luck, Gertrude, and enjoy the fireworks.
So yeah, and
Statement
Gertrude's gonna,
ends.
he was talking about the C4, which like taking a
This
block of it
was
himself.
found tucked
makes
into
sense.
a hard case containing many blocks of plastic explosive, kept by Gertrude Robinson in a storage unit that I can only assume has extremely lax oversight. It is unclear if she ever read it. You know, after my conversation with Jared, I actually thought I was starting to get a handle on everything. How it works, the connections between it all. It is strangely reassuring to have a statement where once again I find myself having remarkably little idea what it's talking about. Justin Goff was clearly an avatar of the end, but
Yeah.
I have no idea what else Dekker was alluding to.
Like another entity or something?
So Gertrude knew Adelard Dekker as well. I wonder, is
I
there
guess they were
anyone
both-
connected to the supernatural that she was not on first-name terms with?
Well,
I suppose if you spend 50 years as the focal point of
hunting
horrors,
and stuff, and
eventually,
like keeping people safe.
everyone
I guess
ends
not
up knowing
hunting,
you.
exercising things.
or dead. Or both. I know there are more important things to be doing, but I did ask Basira to have a quick search for Justin Goff, see what might have happened to him. There are records of his residence in an East London care facility until 2015, when he disappears from their records.
Oh.
Several deaths among the staff apparently occurred at roughly the same time,
Oh.
and it will come as no surprise that the inquest returned a verdict of carbon monoxide poisoning in each case.
Okay.
I'm not too concerned, to be honest. My dreams are, well, let's just say I don't think they're going to be letting anyone else in anytime soon.
Too scary on their
End
own,
recording.
or interesting. Interesting.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. Today's episode was written by Jonathan Sims
Okay, let me
and
just-
directed by Alexander J. Newell.
Reread the.
To subscribe, view associated material or join our Patreon, visit rustyquill.com.
Read the summary again,
Rate
so I don't
and
miss
review us
anything.
online, tweet us at The Rusty Quill, visit us on Facebook or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Join our communities on the forum via the website or on Reddit at r/the
Okay, I was laughing remembering how they screamed at John when when he thought that the tape recorder was recording. Oh my god, okay. Don't play the next episode. Okay. Okay, yeah. Adelard Dekker delivered the explosives on Gertrude's behalf. Something that might come to nothing, and then he gives the statement. While researching a new emergence. He was like, "Oh God, I have to repay death now." He brought me back to life. Okay. Yikes. These entities being so creative in their expressions. How about death and dreams and carbon monoxide poisoning? The end up in the clouds going like, "Oh, this is a funny little gimmick. This will be a funny little gimmick down there." I don't know. Stop personifying the fear gods. Okay. Interesting. Far too gone to easily kill. So there's like some sort of like, if you're too far gone, I can't kill you thing. But that's interesting because like, I was like, that's interesting because Daisy shot Michael Crew in the head and like he died. And but it was like he seemed very far gone in terms of not being human and like serving his entity. But then I remembered that Daisy is like serving the hunt, and Adelard Dekker says that to kill something too far gone, then you'd probably need someone enthralled to the hunt. And I'm like, my brain expanded. Okay. I'm unable to dream. So he's like, I'm going into the dream world with you and giving you some near-death experiences so that you die of carbon monoxide poisoning like me. It's like, in your dreams? And I'm like, okay. Sure. Okay. Note tucked in a case of explosives. So this guy, he delivered to, maybe not to Gertrude, not to Gertrude, because he said that like Gertrude was Gertrude didn't want to like move them herself because something like some sort of surveillance that's only watching her. So it's the eye. She's trying to get the explosives around the eye's view, it seems. I don't know. I guess maybe he delivered it here to the storage locker. I guess maybe because he left the note. The note is here, unless he delivered it here and then it was he delivered it somewhere and then it was moved. All of it was moved here. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. A new emergence. He said something about taking on avatars. Related entity. The end. I can finally read one of these. Okay. Transcript. They saying some weird stuff. Avatars. Let me look up. Yeah, there's a meditation. That's a meditation for another day. As far as these deaths, I can't speak. As far as these deaths. What's wrong with me? Death. I can say death normally. Deaths. As far as these death. I'm gonna die. How appropriate. Okay. As far as these deaths. The is killing me. I don't know what's. Have I never said the word deaths before in my life? 5 deaths. Deaths. No, it's too. I'm saying it too. Deaths. As far as these deaths were deaths. Holy shit! It sounds so unnatural. Maybe I'm saying it fine, but it feels so unnatural on my tongue. These deaths were concerned. I was confident deaths. That's too sharp. It needs to be deaths. Okay. I was confident there was something turning up in people's houses and doing this to them. My first thought was a direct manifestation. What? But the more I looked into it, the more I suspected maybe it was some poor soul who got in too deep to an entity, maybe? I don't know if my little theoretical is strong enough yet to start taking avatars, but this one, as you've no doubt guessed, turned out to be Terminus, but Terminus is capitalized. This sentence was confusing to me, and now that I read it and it's capitalized, that just means end. Terminus is the end. Terminus. Literally, the definition of terminus is literally the end. It's the termination. It's the terminus. Yeah, turned out to be Terminus. Okay, it was confusing to my ears, but it makes sense now. Okay, so how disappointing! It was just this normal death. Lame. Okay. So yeah. Jonathan was confused, but I called him Jonathan. Jonathan Sims. I either have to call him John or Jonathan Sims. I can't just call him Jonathan. That's weird. Okay. But I missed this part where Jean says, I mean, it looks like, I heard him say it looks like C4, so then I just thought it was C4, but then Melanie says, are you just saying that because it's the only plastic explosive you've ever heard of? Same. That's what I was doing. Well, John said it, so I believed him, yeah, and I'm a liar, and I'm bad. Okay. Gertrude should all be here, thank God knows. Oh, okay. You press you where you got it. So yeah, he was moving it for her. So, and he's like tracking something. And he's like, maybe I need some eventually. And yeah, the surveillance is only keeping track of her. Owe me a favor. I know you are dismissive of the possibility, but if I'm right, the sudden urgency of these immediate dangers you are so focused on could very well be a direct result. The sudden urgency of these immediate dangers. So Gertrude's focusing on something. Is this specifically for the stranger? It's 2012. I don't know if she's working on the stranger right now. I don't have the years worked out. I just have the general timeline. And dates. But yeah, immediate dangers. So Gertrude's focused on something right now. And Dekker says, what you're working on right now, that's like immediate, could be the result of this thing that I'm looking into, which you don't believe. But I think I'm onto something. But that's for another day, and this particular incident turned out to be unconnected. Okay. It's death. The point is, I was alerted to the series of deaths by a friend of mine. You see why I thought this might be related. Related to the new emergence that he's seeking, or related to the thing that Gertrude's working on right now that's very urgent. God, I have no clue. Sleep. Death and sleep. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Flies. Yeah. Okay, so he was looking for, because the moment, like, Jerry said, God, Jerry, I'm gonna call him Jerry. John still said Gerard here, but I'm like Jerry, he said, like, when he was explaining the entities, he was like, even though they've been, like, stagnant for some while now since the Industrial Revolution, but it's been, you know, new entities, some entities are newer than others because of stuff that happened during how much, like, fear has changed and the world has changed. Ooh. And so that's why. Oop. That's why, like, new entities do emerge. It just takes forever, it seems. Or it has to be a large shift in, like, consciousness about how people view things. Like the development of, like, mass production and stuff. And meat mass production. And, like, other things. So I always assume there is at least a possibility. Well, the fears that we have now are very broad in the sense that they mostly cover the major parts of everything, like, in some way. Because even sleep is covered, but there's, like, the Sandman story, which is, and, like, the blanket thing, and a lot of that's, like, kind of fear of sleep, but it's, like, covered in the blanket of darkness. The dark? Yeah, the dark. Yeah. So I wonder exactly what he was searching for. It was like maybe not a medical fear, but like a medical fear, but like a I don't know exactly. Like the fear of unconsciousness, I guess, or dreams, or like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The silencing of your mind, like the fear of that sort of thing. Because I feel that big time. But I hate lobotomies. I hate lobotomies so much. But yeah, interesting. So we moved the C4 for Gertrude, not the C4. I don't know, plastic explosive, whichever one it is. So yeah, explosives. She did tear up that one skin that they were looking for, but it seems that, as John I think said before, and like as Nicola said, like we don't need that skin specifically. We just need a skin with great symbolic importance. And then like I think John said later that this, or like maybe John like quoting Gertrude or something, said like it seems that the parts in the Unknowing can be replaced, like even the dances can be replaced, like the parts of it can be replaced. But like the thing we have right now is it's tied to the location. That's why I'm thinking like, is the C4 fit that? The C4? Can I just call it C4? I don't know what other explosives there are. I don't even know what a plastic explosive is. What's the difference between a plastic explosive and what don't all explosives use gunpowder? No, I don't know what explosives are. But yeah, I don't know. That was a good episode. It was interesting. More deathness, more interesting application of death. Interesting. There's the whole like payback thing. There's like sort of a weird little like exchange. No, there was like gambling in that one episode, but it was like a swapping, like an exchange. Well, all entities have like I do this for you and you do this for me. In that sense, it was like Trevor Herbert like not dying from cancer. But like I guess I'm just relating it to like some of the other death episodes we've seen, where it's like that one guy gambled, and then he traded his life. He traded the existence with that like Grim Reaper that he was playing with. Interesting. And then, but in that sense, it was like forced servitude, which is interesting. Cause then like this guy is like, God, he wakes up and goes like, no, I have to do all this death stuff now. Gosh darn it. I don't think that's how he responded, screaming. I think he screamed more intensely than that. But you know, yeah. Nice. I don't know exactly. Nice. That was cool. More like the little muffly beginning, commitment to the bit. Tape recorder stuck in the bag. Everyone going like, why, John? Yeah. Then having a little small talk about traveling. It's like, how was the trip? And then Melanie's like, I was shot by a ghost that one time. And then John going like, it was nice, it was weird, it was, I don't know, that was culture shock, suspicion, paranoia. It's fun. I'm glad we're working together. They talked a little bit about the plan. I missed like a word, I couldn't really pick it up, even though I went back. It was the plan to get rid of Elias. Don't touch the books, makes sense. Oh, and John said, and you refused to give a statement about it, about her getting shot by a ghost. Like, not only is he annoyed that he doesn't get to know, he's annoyed because he really wants that statement. Okay. John, calm down, okay? Merton's plan is solid, I think. And Martin says, I mean, they might just kill him, and Melanie says, good. And when they say that, I believe they're talking about Elias, because Melanie wants him dead. And Archivist, I like never says his name in the transcripts. Okay, I mean maybe, but I think there's still a best chance. Even if we did manage to blindside him, I don't know how long we could hold him. Yeah, and Merton says he's happy to use the police against us, so that's definitely Elias. This policeman outside. And Archivist says, why? I can't just call him Archivist. Why is he called that? And then John says, I don't want a kidnapping charge. So Merton has a plan against Elias. Merton says, I mean, they might just kill him. Is he talking about Tim? Or we don't know exactly what his plan is when they... John mentions it's a plan, and Merton says they. So it's either someone involved in the plan, or maybe some other thing that we're bringing into the plan to get rid of Elias, or like break ourselves from Elias. They are still our best chance. So they say they. Who is they? Like they're involving they in this plan. Like is it like for the plan? Like it could be like people we know. Well, it has to be people we know because they're not just gonna introduce something random to get rid of Elias. But is it like people on our team? Is it like Daisy, Basira, Tim, all the other people that aren't in the room? Or is it like some other person related to like some other entity or something? Or like some what people are we using against Elias that might kill him? They could be just like malicious entity, avatar, or what, the people we know, like the people in the archives. They're keeping it vague on purpose. And I don't know exactly, but. Yeah. I'm gonna sign off. I don't know what else to say. It was cool. There's a lot of cool, scary fears related to me stuff in here. Cool. Like plot development, research to the locker at the storage place, and Gertrude's gonna blow some place up. We got the statement from Adelard Dekker, which I mixed up with the other guy that's in 2 episodes. Interesting. We got some that stuff, some other stuff. Jonathan Sims being the best. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'll sign off. Oh, my butt. Sitting. Oh, ow. Ooh. Sure sucks. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Starting off into the next dimension. Nobody will be there. And, hot shit. It killed. I need to stop trying. Okay, bye.